Afternoon, good evening, and welcome. Welcome to the March Council of Love Heart Call. And as we can see, I'm sure we're all noticing that the energy has been incredibly intense and intensifying day by day as we really reach a pinnacle or a shift point. And it's a shift point that we've all been waiting for, actually. There's a couple of newsy things that I want to talk about before we get down to our meditations and our channeling. And one of them is that March is the time of the spring equinox. And the Mother and the Council, and particularly Archangel Michael, has been speaking to me about the primary word that came through or started to come through was courage. And that, of course, was matched with the Mother's term of brave heart. And to that, in this past week, as I prepared for the class, constancy and consistency were added to that little catchphrase. And we know that the Council of Love loves to talk about things in terms of things that are really easy to remember, and the D words and the C words and the M words, etc. So C seems to be a theme right now. And I think it's about all of us seeing and recognizing not only what's going on in the external world, but our internal world. You know, we tend to forget we get so much information from the Council and from many other people that sometimes we forget. You know, we live in this world of constant news feeds and information coming at us. And if it wasn't like this morning's news, it's gone. So this is your little reminder that when we had the winter solstice, when the Mother came to us and in great detail talked about how she was doing her alignment of time and space and dimensions and frequencies. Now, all of that doesn't happen without a lot of stuff, chaos, really bubbling to the surface. And I know, and I can hear you, and I've looked in the mirror and said to myself, how could there possibly be more? But there is, and here we are. The other thing I want to mention, in addition to the spring solstice webinar, it's the other three words, actually, I almost forgot, that they added last night, that the Mother, 3 a.m. wake-up call, added last night. And that was compassion. I wrote them down. Compassion, conjoining, and consciousness. So with courage, we're matching it energetically. We're embracing it. We're spinning with it. Courage and compassion. Constancy and conjoining. Now think of that. Because if we're not in our constant state of conjoining with each other, heart to heart to heart, with our guides, with the Council, with the divine, with the universe, then we're flipping in and out. And the third word they came up with was consistency as well, was consciousness. And I add to that our heart consciousness. That this is a time more than ever that we need to be deeply, profoundly anchored in our hearts, not in our heads. Because we all know in so many ways, as we observe some of the external world right now, it doesn't make sense. And if we aren't remaining anchored deeply in our heart, then we're not being consistent or constant. The other thing that Council did with me this morning as I was getting ready for our time together was literally also anchoring me not only in my heart, but growing these beautiful spring tendrils into the ground out of my feet. So it helps, spring is a time of planting, And I know, and I said in last week's blast, I think, that what I'm planting this spring is my new book, plug. But it's a time for each of us to really be deciding in this new cycle, what are we planting? And another way of putting it is, what are we willing to be consistent about? What are we willing to really commit to? So it's food for thought. The day after the equinox, Tam Randallis, a occult Council of Love teacher and life coach, is starting a fabulous new series called The Great Awakening that is based on the Great Awakening book written by that famous author, Linda Dillon. It's a spiritual primer that is so foundational. And of course, Tam has updated all that information because it's old information and it hasn't been changed. It's just been expanded upon. So Tam's going to walk us through an incredible adventure. It starts on March 21st and we finish, I think, late May. So you might want to check that out because I know it's going to be really strong. And again, during this next phase, it'll help us with everything that's going on and building not only our community, which is pivotal, but also our own grid as we are coming into that alignment. You know, again, as the council's been talking to me about the spring equinox webinar, they say, okay, in December, you got the announcement. But now what we're moving into with that alignment, with the mother's alignment, is the anchoring, the integration. And I know that Tam's course would really help all of us with that deeper integration into who we are and what we're creating and co-creating as Nova Gaians. So have a peek at it. What we're going to do today is a spinning meditation. And again, in terms of new stuff we've gotten in the last year, spinning is a way to create and co-create. And what the mother has asked us to do is to work on peace. That's part of the courage. That's part of the brave heart. It's part of us being warriors of love, heart rebels. So what we're going to do, and Mother is here reminding me, and this has never changed. When the first Iraq war broke out, 91, that's a long time ago. And I remember very clearly I was living in Sedona and this urgent call went out from the mother. And she said, I want you to pray for the women and children of Iraq and Iran. And from time to time, as things have heated up in the Middle East, she has renewed that. But she's never said you can stop praying for the women and children of Iraq and Iran. And we're seeing so much war erupting all over the planet, continuing all over the planet. I want to be really clear about this. This isn't about us choosing sides. This isn't about us being the judges of what's right or wrong, correct or incorrect, fair or unjust. That's not our job. But what our job is to really honor our sacred sovereignty, our shared humanity. And when that shared humanity by anybody anywhere is not being honored, that's when that clarion call goes out. And what we do is we pray, we meditate, we become the most incredible transmitters, radiators that could possibly live. So, a reminder about the spinning exercise as we get going. Because we're going to start to the right today. And I don't know if you guys watch the Olympics, but I am just so much in admiration of Alyssa Alou, the one that won the gold for the United States in the figure skating. And her joy, her embrace of who she is, and what we're really capable of when we decide to do it. Because, I don't know if you know her backstory. She quit. She said, no, this is too much, too tense, too much of everything. I want a life. And then with a new breakthrough, a new attitude, she came back and walked away with it all. But I remember as I was watching her, thinking, oh, I hope everyone's seeing how this spinning can work. Now, the closest thing I come to spinning these days is in my chair. But just get that vision. So when we spin to the left, counterclockwise, we are bringing in. We're literally it feels like we're doing this and collecting everything we want to create for ourselves, for the collective, for our new planet. When we spin clockwise, we're doing elimination. We're not even, today especially, we're not working with the laws of transmutation, transformation. We're working with the law of elimination, and we're getting rid of all the dross and garbage. So today we're going to start, as we go into meditation, prior to our channeling, we're going to go to the right, clockwise, and get rid of the barriers, the obstacles, the dross, the garbage that prevent us from living, from any of us, the collective, because we're all in it together. So we're getting rid of what bars our ability to really live heart to heart to heart. When we've cleaned up, we're going to then spin counterclockwise, a full ballet or ice skating, and we're going to bring in the new. And as we're doing that, as the mother's just talking to me now, let's see that we're not only bringing it in, but we're really planting it. We're really anchoring it into the soil. Yesterday, I did this wonderful channel. Now, I'm really lucky. I don't think I ever really get to have a terrible channel. Sometimes what I see is disturbing, but no. But yesterday, I was doing this channel with one of us. And the reason it stuck with me, it was so gorgeous. That the mother was talking about the divine feminine, not our sexual presence, but the divine feminine, and how we all carry that. And how in our collective we have people that we think of as leaders, as strong and mighty and getting things done. And she made that into a boulder, a huge boulder. And she said, but you have to remember what lies underneath that boulder is the soil, is the sand, is the grass. And it's soft and receiving, and it's allowing the boulder to stay there. And we're the grass. There are times when we're all the bolder. But the fact that the divine feminine holds and receives and nurtures so that what needs to be constructed can take place. But first, we have to have the soft, welcoming, sturdy, strong as all get out soil, grass. So as we're doing our spinning, as we're planting peace on earth, let's feel ourselves as that grass with our tendrils into the earth, anchoring everything that each one of us brings. And it's different for each and every one of us. We each have a piece of this pie. So the halions, for example, bring something very different than the magentas. And the rainbows bring something very different than the neons. And the diamond kids, the new kids, they're bringing something that we've never witnessed before. So I hope you're following Lee Degani's work as well, because what they're doing is incredible. Okay, let's get started. So you know the drill. Close your eyes and let go of the day. Let go of that to-do list of what you want to do this weekend, what you didn't get done last week. And just breathe. Let's breathe in through our nose and hold it, and then whoosh it out. Let go. Bring your shoulders down. Relax your jaw, your hips. Couple more. And feel yourself drift down gracefully into your heart. And feel the steadiness, the bolderness of that presence in your heart. The foundation of who you are, your soul design that helps you fulfill every wish, desire, and promise you've ever made. And now let's drop down a little through our chakras, through our solar and our halion, through our amber, through our beautiful orange, into our pubic, the color of clay, down to our root, that rich, brilliant red. And feel your cord going down into Gaia, down through the soft soil and the rock and the gaseous layers, right to the heart of Gaia, and anchor there. Now also come down to your feet, to the soles of your feet, and feel all those sweet little spring tendrils coming out of your feet and dropping into the ground. And it doesn't matter whether you're on a carpet or wood or cement. Feel them go down into the ground. A gentleness, a magnet that gives you full freedom of movement, but keeps you connected. So from your crown to the bottom of the soles of your feet, Feel that connection with our beloved Gaia. Now come into your heart and think and feel and know, because this is your divine knowing and your divine authority to work with elimination, which has only really been allowed in the last few years. So I want you to think in terms of our mission today of anchoring peace on earth. What would you like to get rid of? And it's personal to each of us. And when we help name it, define it, what it does is it helps us fill out that mosaic of what we're going to let go of. So feel in your heart and then allow the universe to add to that bounty basket as we begin to spin, letting go, clearing to the right, clockwise. See yourself spinning. You're a whirling dervish. You're an ice skater. You're a dancer. You're an angel in form. Now spin. Feel yourself slightly leaning into the right. Let's go. And let that whirlwind just clean the path, not in a destructive way, but in a way of cleansing, renewal, hope. One more time to the right. You are the white tornado. Go. And anchor in your heart. Feel your feet on the ground. And now we bring in the new. We are the creator race. We've returned for that purpose. So what do you want to bring? What's yours to bring and to create a peaceful planet, this beautiful planet of love? It's not just cities of light, it's a planet of light. So what's your contribution? What can we bring in together today? And as you've got it, allowing for the add-on, let us spin to the left, counterclockwise. Let's go. Food and water, and pastures and clean air, compassion and courage, stamina. Bring your gifts in. Bring all of you in and spin. Together, let's spin around the entire planet. from the North Pole to the middle, to the South Pole. Let's make her glistening and shining and bright in the place where the promise lives. Now come to a stop. Again, feel yourself grounded. And thank yourself. And acknowledge and accept that you are powerful enough, not in an authoritarian way or an ego way, that you hold the divine essence to do this creation work. And it's the promise we made to the Mother, to each other, and to ourselves. Now step aside. Greetings, I am Mary. I am Mother. I am Mother of one, and I am Mother of each and every one of you. And I am you and you are me. For we are in the union. Yes, the unified field of one, but also the union of love, of family love. Now I have told you, and I have promised, and I have decreed that hatred will be eliminated upon my beloved Guyana. This does not change. And what does that mean? So often, I hear all of you, and it is a chorus that says, yes, there are slight changes, but I don't really see the change that we have been working and praying and hoping for. So this has need to be very clear, very apparent, very obvious. No, not for the purpose of destruction, for no destruction other than hatred, other than greed and cruelty and ego and abuse and misuse and a complete ignorance of the truth of power, of the privilege. There has been enough conscious and unconscious abuse of power throughout the galaxies and certainly upon this beloved planet. Now I do not, nor do you, come as avenging angels. That is a myth. The key to healing, to creation, is forgiveness. It is allowing the desire for peace, not just the hope, the profound action and desire, your creation codes, beloved one, please remember them. It starts with intention and stillness, but it also requires action. You do not sit and wait for nirvana. You co-create it with us. You do not remain as infants swaddled. You are spiritually mature, wise, powerful angels in form. And you do this, yes, with me, with us, but you also do it for each other. You do it for Guyana, and you do it for those who are not even aware. It matters not. What matters is your awareness, your knowing, and your assumption of your authority and your sovereignty and your power to create. And in that, the ability, because it does not come from ego, to come together. When I speak to this channel about shared humanity, I do not mean this group or that group, this country, that sector. No. It is shared. And it is sacred. And what transpires now in this shift, in my alignment, time, dimensions, we will be happy to say goodbye to the dimension discussions because it is unified. And in that unification, you cannot have that distortion. You cannot have brutality of any kind. And of course, that begins with your sacred self. Sweet children, angels of light, daughters and sons of my heart. You cannot fully comprehend or love one another. And this mission that you have chosen and that you are here today undertaking and witnessing, participating in, is conjoined. It is not individual, but you cannot fully conjoin in the unity and love of one and each other if you are not in love with yourself. It is not, I hope one day I will really know and understand who I am. That is denial. And there has been enough of it. We know you are sick of it. And dare I say, we have certainly witnessed enough. The plan for Gaia is not the eradication, the elimination through wars of the planet into dust. It is to be a physicality of consciousness and awareness. It is the embodiment of love. That is why you took form. That is why you birthed. That is why you are my precious joy. Shared humanity forgives and is gracious and generous. And yes, grounded. That is the G group for the day. Michael has enlisted and called all of you brave heart warriors of peace. And in the peace within, you radiate it out. You share it as freely as the springtime air, as the winter cold, as the summer sun. You share it. It is really the true gift you have to share. The material experience, it varies for all of you. And it goes up and down, in and out. What is consistent is who you are. And that embrace. And so often you've said, oh, I don't know. I have so many flaws. I have so much to clear. I just don't know, Mother. Please help me. Well, I am helping you. And there is one directive. There is one gift. And that is to embrace yourself. And as you do, embrace the entire collective. You are intended and meant to co-create this planet of love, to restore and upgrade. This is ascension. And it is not individual, and it is not merely collective. It is united. Let me embrace you. Let me spin with you. Let me and us and all create with you. Let us honor and activate in action your shared humanity. We are with you. We are always with you. When you are lonely and you call out, when you are desolate and you call out, when you are joyful and you call out, we are with you. Now please come and be with us. Please acknowledge who you are and then be who you are. And know the gratitude of my heart. Go with my love, and go, sweet angels of peace, in joy. Farewell. Thank you. I hope to see you on the equinox, or run into you spinning around the planet. Until the next time, from my heart to yours, all my love. Bye for now.